how will you engage your class? How will you engage those committees, the service committee, the social committee, the professional committee? How will you do that, right? And we're going to talk about that. But before all that, what I want to know from you today, ahorita, is what are you feeling? I want, let me just say, this session, this piece, we're going to actually record it and have your teachers watch it next week, because we're going to meet with your Latinos in Action teacher next week, and they're going to watch this piece, and I want them to hear from you. I want them to know what is going on in your mind, in your hearts, what you're feeling, what your thoughts are. First of all, through COVID, when it started, now, and also what you're feeling going into the year. Like, what is it that you're anxious about? Are you excited? Are you not? Tan triste? You got mixed feelings? Have you had a struggle with school? Do you think it's going to be a struggle? What are you thinking? And I want the world to know, because all these politicians and leaders are making decisions, and sometimes they don't even make decisions. They make decisions without even hearing from you. So I want them to actually hear from you and listen, and really intentionally listen to what the students are saying. So I'm going to open it up. Entre familia. We're here as a familia. I want you to feel comfortable telling me how you feel, and telling your compadres and comadres here, because you never know. Somebody might be feeling exactly how you're feeling, and that makes them feel even better if they know that they're not alone. So I'm going to open it up. Don't be shy.
Raise your hand if you
Yeah, if you want to raise your hand, you can do that, or you can just unmute yourself.
Eva wants to speak. Yes,
go ahead, Eva.
Go ahead.
I think I'm excited as well as anxious for the new school year to start with all the restrictions. My biggest worry going into the new school year is being able to still participate actively while still being able to enforce those restrictions as a leader.
Okay, tell me a little bit more. I love what you're saying and where you're headed with that. Tell me a little bit more, but before that, can you stand up and go Superman and show me your shirt? I love it. Love that shirt. Awesome. Tell me a tad bit more about what you're saying there.
Okay, so we will be going back to school, but there are restrictions. We do have to wear masks. There's social distancing restrictions as well. And there's also restrictions when it comes to group meetings, keeping 6 feet apart. And I know that my class likes to do things together, whether it's dancing or services. My biggest concern is how will I be able to enforce those restrictions while still maintaining a familia type of.
I love it. I love it. That's a good question for everybody. How are we gonna do all the fun stuff and all the interactive things that we've done before, and that's what you're worried about as well, right? But how about anybody else? Chicos, chicas.
César Plasencia.
Okay. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of worried because there's gonna be like new rules implemented, and like we're gonna have to like
oh, we could barely hear you.
Can and like it's kind of sad because it's like my career, and I want to leave in like some answer like LA.
So we could barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Try one more time. Go ahead.
What about now?
Yes, better.
Better? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just start over.
Yeah, and we're still having trouble hearing you a little bit.
it's probably the connection.
Yeah. You know what? Can you go ahead and write that, and then we will read it. And while you're doing that, we're gonna go to somebody else. Okay. So if you want, I want you to talk to me. Tell me what you're feeling. Tell me what you thought going into this, and maybe what went through your mind as you had to do this, even at the end of the year, and now this summer, and then the fall. What's going on in your mind? Tell me. Just
Can you
unmute
hear me?
yourself. Yes.
Okay. Well, when I first told my teacher I wanted to be president, I was thinking in my mind, I was like, well, some people don't have a voice, and maybe I can help them find their voice and help them.
Love it. I love it. So that's something that you're anxious to do, right? Is to help your classmates, especially during this time, find their voice and be able to be heard.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. What else, chicos? What else are you thinking? What are you feeling? Jocelyn, Elizabeth, Alexa,
Can
who
I
else?
go?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, okay. So the previous LA class we lost a bunch of seniors, which was the majority of our LA class. And so I'm worried about engaging these new students who haven't had experience or experienced this type of group. And so I'm just thinking of how I'm gonna get that familia bond get going.
So before we go on, I love that you said that. First, tell me what school.
Freedom Academy.
Okay. And you did. You had a lot of seniors.
Yeah.
And see all these people, they might be thinking the same thing. So let's kind of go down that road and think, how will we engage that? And then later on, we're gonna actually get into our masterminds, and I want you to think about that, because you're gonna do some active masterminding, setting goals of how you will get them involved. But I love that question, and I love that you're thinking about it. Que bien. Who else? What are you feeling? What did you go through? Did some of you guys go through some tough times? And if so, tell me about it. If also, what do you want to see when you get into school? What do you feel?
Angie.
Well, honestly,
Go ahead, Mia.
okay. Honestly, I feel like since I was a confirmed case at one point and I did get better, I'm just scared that I'm gonna get it again because you're not just immune to it after you get it. And I feel like most of like the students in our school are probably just not gonna listen to most of the guidelines. So I'm just kind of like nervous on whether I should go back or if I should be homeschooled. And honestly, the only reason on why I would go to school is because I do want to run for presidency for Latinos in Action, because I know that I can do a lot more for the class than we did last year. And I really want to be able to get more of the Latinos out there, not just the ones that are in the class. That's kind of like the only reason why I would go back, but I am just kind of nervous on me getting sick again.
Thank you, Alicia, for your honesty, your vulnerability. Like you mentioned that you had COVID, and that you've recovered, but at the same time you're scared to maybe perhaps get it again. Or what would you do? But you want to go back because you feel you want to contribute to Latinos in Action because you can. What else? I want to hear from somebody that might have that same thought, or that is excited maybe to go back to school and has some ideas of how they can dive right in and make a difference.
We have a few.
Can I go?
Yes. Yes. Emily and then Micaela.
Okay, so I'm same. I'm scared about going to school and like getting the virus and giving it to me because I've had like some close encounters of like almost getting the virus and stuff and having to go get tested and all of that, and also giving it to my parents who are much older and stuff, and like wondering like what's gonna happen to them and me as well. So yeah.
So there is this sense of fear, like in Provo, and I think in Alpine and some of these others, they are going back, but you have the choice still, right? And
Yeah.
or there's a virtual piece to it. And so that's, as leaders, you guys are leaders. Those are some of the things that you want to think about. You want to prepare. How will we prepare for every one of these scenarios if we don't go in, or if something happens and we're back into virtual, right? You want to be prepared. You want to have something prepared. But I love that you guys are thinking about it. I love that you're feeling it and being vulnerable right now and giving us that feel. What else? Mika?
Micaela Moreira.
Yeah, I'm like scared too. Like I'm the president for this year and I'm not sure if I want to go back to school just because of getting exposed, and like I want to see my family during the school year and stuff, but I also feel like if I don't go then I can't like engage with my class as much for this year, and I want to like improve in my leadership.
What grade are you in and what school, Mija?
I'm going to be a junior at Westlake High School.
How about you, Emily?
I'm gonna be a senior and I go to Mountain View, and I kind of just still want to be like really into the Latinos in action, but also like really careful about the COVID situation.
Right. I love it. You guys, even though let me just say this, and I say, you're in the middle of a pandemic. This has never happened ever before. You guys, what I love about you guys is that even during these tough times, you're here. Look at you, you're here, right? And you're creating and you're thinking. And I'm gonna say thank you, first of all, for being here. Even during this tough times, you still want to be leaders. And that's what I love about it. So now that you feel that from your familia here, even though that you have this fear, how do we move forward? I want to hear some thoughts. How do we
Jose,
start?
we have a couple comments in the
Sure.
chat, and we also have several students that want to go next.
Perfect.
Cesar Plasencia says, I'm worried about the new rules being implemented because it will hold us back on many fun things this year. I'm also sad because this is my senior year and I really wanted to get big things done for our class this year. But the excitement of going back to school and still having las ganas to get stuff done and work around what's stopping us overpowers the sadness. Vamos a echarle ganas.
Love it.
I think there were a few people that wanted to go next.
Okay.
I think it was Rachel and then Joaquin.
Excellent.
Joaquin Casas. Yeah.
Okay, so like for me, I'm scared but yet really excited. Well, I'm scared because I'm gonna have 6 siblings and my mom's pregnant, so I'm like scared to give them the virus. But I'm excited because I want to make like the sophomores, I want them to have like a great year and try to have the same experience we did in a way. So yeah.
I love it. You want to give what you felt. Who's next? I love it. Thank you.
Joaquin.
Joaquin?
Hi. I'm actually really excited for this school year because I think classes will be better. And I'm still afraid because of COVID and my parents because they're much older than me. But I'm really excited, and I think we can also like communicate better and try to bring some other people to our group, to this familia.
How old are you, bud? You look like you're like 10 going on 20.
I'm 13.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
What I'm saying is going on 20 is you look young, but you're brilliant. And I love what you're saying. I love that you can speak up amongst all your peers, high school peers. I love that you do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's a compliment.
Yes.
Just when you get older, you'll appreciate it a lot more.
Okay,
Thank you
who's
so
next?
much.
Sorry. I think we have
Eva
Danny Munoz.
Grimaldo.
Go ahead, Danny Munoz.
I'm a little worried because this is my first year in Latinos in Action. I'm going in my senior year. And, you know, after I applied, I just applied for a service position, but the teacher and the president, they asked me if I wanted to be vice president because they thought since I've never been in it, that I'd be like less judgmental in a way and be more open. And it's a little nerve-wracking because I'm put in a leadership position without ever being in the class. So I'm really nervous in that way.
Well, here's what I would say to that. I want you to look at all these squares of support you have here. These are all leaders of leaders. And here's the awesome part. The majority are chicas. You should smile even more, right? But here's the thing. I think that you have a lot of support here. Okay, so don't think you're gonna do it alone. This is why we do this, and you're gonna mastermind. You're gonna have a smaller group that will help you. But I'm glad that you took on that leadership role. You're gonna love it. Okay, who's next?
Jose, there's a comment from someone on the chat.
Okay, will you read that?
Andy Alvarez says, I feel excited entering the new school year, but we might have to enter wearing masks and follow the guidelines. The rules might hold us back from certain activities during the pandemic, but I am excited to go back.
Excellent. Thank you, Andy. Also, Angie Najarro. Did Angie go?
I don't know.
Yeah, she's going, Andy.
Sorry.
Angie.
I am super excited to go back and get a bit of normalcy after all this happened. When this started, I struggled a lot with my anxiety, but because I just kind of worried about getting the virus and everything. But I'm also really excited to like see everyone. But I'm also excited to see the new students. So I think that kind of overpowers like the anxiety and kind of like the nervousness that I'm feeling of going back to school.
These are great to have our teachers listen to. Carla Nava, thank you. Thank you, Angie. Carla, and then we'll finish up here so we can get to our next engaging practice. Carla?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, Carla. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself.
You're okay.
So I'm like a little like nervous because my sister used to be in LIA. She used to be VP, and I feel like she did such a good job at it, and I feel like I won't do as a great job as vice president as she did, and I feel like I need to follow in her footsteps.
And you're already doing that, and then some. Let me just tell you, sometimes I would say this to students: don't compare to your brother or sister, because then you guys all are different and are doing it different in different timing. So even though your sister, you may think your sister did a great job, and she probably did, she never did it under these conditions. Okay? Does that make sense to you? So that means that when you do this, you're gonna always say, yes, but I did it during a pandemic. Okay?
Okay.
Good. Okay, we're gonna move on. I want us to really understand that our teachers need to hear you. And so thank you for sharing. We're gonna continue this conversation.
I'm gonna ask for some volunteers on who wants to share their item and why it's meaningful to them.
Item or person?
Bella Siller, I think she's raising her hand.
Okay, Bella.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me pull up the picture super fast. So this is the picture. So this is, wait, you can't see it. Can you kind of see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been dancing ballet folklorico since I was like 3, and I started with my aunt and my family, and it's just like super meaningful because it's like kind of what brought like me and my tias and my primas together, and I've been doing it since I was little, and it's just kind of my favorite thing to do. So
Love it. What's your favorite dance, Neha?
I do more of Mexico than anything because my dad's Mexican and my mom is from Brazil, so I do some dances from Brazil as well.
Awesome.
But mostly Mexico, so I do a lot of dances from Jalisco, Tabasco, a lot of Veracruz. So
love it.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you for sharing that. Who would like to go next?
Elizabeth Nunez.
We have a couple. Yeah, we have a couple people.
I'll go.
I think Elizabeth.
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Okay. He is really meaningful to me because he he got me through like a really hard time, and he's kind of like my best friend. And he knows every time like when I'm down, he'll help me get back up, even though he's so little. And he just holds us all together like glue. So yeah.
That's so awesome.
Thank you for sharing with us.
Yeah.
Someone put Monarcas Morelia. What's that? Is that a place?
It's a team that just disappeared this year.
Oh, okay.
I'm not wrong, which I don't think I am.
A ver, anybody else wants to share their item? Carla Navarra?
Yeah.
Maybe if nobody is speaking up without unmuting themselves, we have some in order in the chat.
Can I go?
Okay, go. Oh,
Can
go
I
ahead.
go?
Sorry.
Go ahead, Eva. Carla.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Mine was this like costume.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if you can really see
Wow.
it.
Yeah.
Costume. And like my like whole costume, it all comes in like separate pieces. This is like really special to me because I danced en una danza que se llama Las Chinelas. And I usually dance in it every year, but this year I didn't really get to dance in it because of the whole pandemic. It's really special to me because we have like this thing called El Santiago in like my family tradition, and it's just really special to me because it basically means to me that I get to like spend like it's like a whole week dedicated to El Santiago, and like I get to spend my like whole week with my whole family.
Wow, that's good.
Where is that Santo from? Is that from Puebla?
No, I think it's from Quechu.
Oh, cool.
Will you make sure you perform at our conference?
I will make sure to do that, yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, so we're gonna go in this order for the rest. We'll go Ava, then we'll go Micaela, Ernie, and then Rachel.
And then Emmanuel de la Torre.
So go ahead, Ava.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. So I have two things. One is this medal that I won last year. And then the other is this book. So I won the medal for an oratory that I did. It's a and I chose that because I like speaking. I think the strongest thing we have, the strongest tool we have is our voice, and it needs to be heard. And so I also do drawings as well, and that's just another way that I feel like I can use my voice in a powerful way. And here's one of my drawings that I did.
Oh, wow.
Wow. You've got to enter our contest. We have a drawing contest, you know, for conference.
Yeah. So it says, hate is the most deadly virus. And I think that's something that our world needs to know right now, especially.
Put that up again. I love it. Put it up. I think you're right. Everybody needs to see this because it is the I think deadliest virus out there. Thank you.
And it says various things like we are not a virus, we are not a threat, we are not illegal, we are not mascots.
Wow, that's powerful.
Love that.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Gracias.
Thank you so much, Eva.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to Ernie.
Ernie?
Oh, well, right now, I would probably say it was my dad, but closest thing I had to me was a receipt from my first check. And it's just special to me because like I never really thought of how hard my dad worked for our family. And now that I like come that I came to work with him like for the past couple months. I see how hard his job is and how hard he works for the money that he earns, the bills he pays. So like I'm grateful for my dad.
Thank you. Wow.
Right. Good job, bud.
We'll go to Rachel next.
Okay, so for me, it would be my baby sister. Well, all my siblings, just my baby sister. I don't know. She just makes my day every like if I'm feeling down, just seeing her smile and just seeing her happy just brightens up my day, and it helps a lot. And so yeah, so don't tell my other siblings, okay?
Awesome, thank you, Rachel. Emmanuel?
For me, it would be my dad. He's very much a driving force for me. He, even though doesn't say it out loud, helps me in many ways. He brought me to work. He showed me the values of being a leader, working, and how it all ties together. And I just feel like that would be the most important thing for me right now.
Boom.
Awesome, thank you. Does anybody else want to share?
Looks like Mika has her hand raised.
Hey, Mika.
And Elizabeth wants to go after that.
Okay.
So I definitely say my grandparents, but the closest thing I have next to me are my Lila's like jewelry stuff. So here's like I have her watch and like a bunch of jewelry boxes of hers. And she passed away when I was 5, and I just remember like just this vivid memory of us just always making bracelets and stuff. And my grandpa gave me this bag a couple of years ago, which was hers, that has all of her jewelries in it that she's made and sold and stuff. And so it just like I always have this by my bedside just so I can think of her all the time, and it just makes me happy.
Nice.
Gracias.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Micaela. We have Lisbeth.
Hi. My closest thing that I have is my mom. She's really hardworking, and she's just like my best friend, and that's the only like my favorite like person that I have.
Awesome.
Awesome, thank you. And then Brittany.
I feel like both my parents, because they're both like such a like great representation of like the Cuban culture, and like we love to eat and we love to do all types of things together, and I feel like they're both like just who make me and like my personality and everything, and they're just so special to me.
Thank you so much. I really, yeah, I'm not going to say anything else. That was powerful. It's what we want captured out of this. Muy bien. Let's hear it.
Brittany, our Nevada student, has her hand raised.
Yes, Brittany.
I went into this like knowing that I was nervous and I didn't know what this was about, but I knew that like I had to like be like a participant in this because I know and like the way I stand, and I know that I have to speak up for people, and I love the fact that I learned a lot of new things today, and I met a lot of new people, and I loved the ideas that we shared today. And I would like to share something my mom always says, that she sees me where sometimes I have rough times, and she goes, mira, like I already went through my stuff, ahora es tu responsabilidad. Ya yo hice lo mío, ya yo hice mi escuela, yo trabajé para estar aquí, ahora es tu turno. And I'm like, you're right.
That's good. So Brittany, so you know, Brittany is in a school that's just starting Latinos in Action for the very first time in Nevada, in Vegas, this next year. So we're happy to have you here. We're glad that you met new friends. And please get some emails because these friends will help you. Some of these Utah people have had LIA since 2001, some schools.
Yeah, I've seen the video you showed. I saw in the bottom, it's like 10 years. And I'm like, wow, I barely heard of this.
Yeah, and you're gonna probably spread it over there in Vegas, I'm sure. Que bien.
We have Andy Alvarez again in the comments in the chat. He says, I learned that we can connect and change things as a group and all of us can move forward during tough times.
Que bien. Okay, I know there's some of you guys have been wanting to talk and haven't had that opportunity. I want you to say whatever you feel. Entre familia. I know that you guys got something to say in there. Anything you've learned, even the smallest thing.
We have Aisha Salas wants to share.
Yeah, one thing that I really got from the video at the end was that we're not the same person, and also that we can like really learn to like listen to other people's ideas, because I do know that that was one of the problems in my class last year. Like people wouldn't want to speak up about their ideas because we just procrastinate and not get to it. And so I feel that with what I heard in the video, like we're not the same person. I feel like we learned a lot from this pandemic and we can take a lot of advantage of that and get a lot more things done this year.
Muy bien. Who else?
Mika has her hand raised.
Mika?
Yeah, so something that I came into this meeting was like, I was never a person to talk in front of a whole bunch of people. Like that always scared me and I just didn't have the confidence to do that. But when I came on here today, just as soon as I got on here, I just felt the energy that it would be like an awesome opportunity just to like have a voice and kind of a thing. So like now I feel that I can just talk to whoever because I'm talking to like 60 strangers, which is awesome. And I would have never thought I would have done that ever. But I just think it's a great experience to just finally speak up and yeah.
I love it. And please don't stop. Okay? Make sure you continue.
Yes, we have Joaquin Casas would like to share.
Okay, so I learned that even though people have other opinions that are not your own, you can still share them and you won't be judged, or you're not judging the other person just by putting your opinion out there. Like when I was in our group, Bella said that like information was more important, and I wasn't afraid to say that, okay, I think this is a little bit more important than that, you know?
And that's great. And she probably also just enjoyed you saying that. Bella?
I wanted to add on to that. So I said that yes, the information was more important, and then Joaquin said that the amount of parents or the attendance was more important, and then he explained it, and it clicked differently. So I feel like it doesn't matter if one idea clashes with another, because our ideas clashed, but then it made more sense and it clicked, and it was this crazy connection because it was like, wow, he was actually like, his idea was actually, he thought of it in a different way, which was different than mine, and I was able to, I guess, like the idea more because it was thought differently. And I feel like knowing that there's a lot of people that are either in your same situation or in a different situation, like when we were sharing at the beginning, you know, how we felt about next year, all the things that were said, I was feeling, and it was crazy because I was like, wow, like there's just all these strangers that I don't even know, but I have a connection with because they know how I feel, you know. And it was a lot easier at the end to kind of share and to communicate with these people that I don't know. But this conference was an amazing experience because I met a lot of people.
Love it. Bella, thank you.
And on the same note, there's a comment from Ernie Burgos. He said, I learned that we don't have to be face-to-face in order to communicate and plan things out. We can adapt to our conditions and we can move forward.
Ernie is on fire today. Ernie. Thank you. From his work site even. I love it. Thank you. That is totally true. You don't have to be face to face to come up with the brilliance. You can see that now. A ver, ¿quién más?
Alex was raising his hand.
Okay, Alex.
So I learned that we have a big familia in LIA, and my mom was one of the big people in 2001. She was in LIA. She went to Park City High School,
Tell
and
me her name.
she heard that, and she got up and she started like dancing, and she said that she didn't have like as big as the family that we have right here, the LIA. So yeah, I learned that.
I love it. Is she there?
Yeah, she is.
Tell her to come say hi.
Mom.
That is awesome. That's the first for me, like a full circle. That is so cool. It's around that time now. We did start. It's 20-year. It's a 20-year anniversary. So, hi.
Hi. Mom.
You are our inspiration, a young mom. Thank you for continuing to be a Latina in action and having your boy join us. And we're all here. There's 60 kids about watching from Vegas and all over Utah today. We are inspired and thankful that you came on and let your son know that you were part of the 2001 group.
Yeah, it was much different back then, not what you guys are doing, so congratulations. It was a really new thing to us. We would just kind of hang out together, get to know the other Latinos in our high school, and
Who
we
was
were a
your
smaller
teacher?
group. It was Mr. Murphy.
Yes, I do remember Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Murphy.
Wow.
But it's completely different from what you guys are doing, and I'm always trying to encourage him to stay involved in things, especially with the Latino community.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you. I was taken by surprise, but nice to see you all, and keep it up.
Adelante.
Awesome.
Awesome. So just imagine 20 years from now, when you're doing the same with your kiddos, if that's where you head, it's powerful. You can be Latinos in action for life, por vida.